Colorado's shoring up its cybersecurity as the governor announces sanctions against Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. Which leads to the question, what specifically in Colorado would be under threat from the Russians? Anusha Roy explains.
Colorado leaders are getting messages from the federal government.
Issued a shields up order to all organizations around the country to be extra vigilant.
The ask was to plan for the worst when it comes to cyber attacks. After Russia attacked Ukraine, accompanied by cyber attacks on the Ukrainian government and infrastructure.
Modern day warfare, if you will, also has this cyber component.
Cybersecurity in Colorado is being emphasized for a few reasons. The Fed said in wake of sanctions imposed by the U.S. and allies, organizations need to be prepared for the possibility of retaliation.
There is no such thing as the world away. And so the world is so interconnected that Russia and every other country on the planet is right next door from, a cyber point of view.
Professor Steve Beatty with MSU Denver said the things we rely on day to day are the very things that need extra protection right now.
There's an organization inside the FBI called InfraGard that I participated in. And so they list then the critical parts of, what is it that we need to function as a society.
We are talking about our electric grid, transportation, natural gas, and our banks.
At the state level, we have a lot of citizen information that we have to protect.
At a state level, this means continuing to talk with critical infrastructure like RTD and DIA about ongoing security measures and doubling down on monitoring around the clock.
Notice where certain information is coming from in terms of your IP address. So we can really detect certain countries, and we know exactly where that information is coming from. So we will potentially put more monitoring on those addresses just to see what's there.
We talked to a humanitarian group that is currently trying to figure out if they can help families in Ukraine. One of the things they have to be 100% sure of is that any information they're sharing with families about evacuations has to be accurate, but that there's also a lot of really bad information circulating. They're also taking cybersecurity into account because they said Russia is so technologically sophisticated. They have to make sure their info and their data don't get hacked, which could then put people in danger. And you didn't see or directly hear from this group today, Kyle, because of those safety concerns.
So you get a lot of individual companies and nonprofits making their own choices based on levels of exposure.
Right. So here's the thing is that Ukraine is also a big tech hub. So there's a lot of people with a lot of tech talent over there working for U.S. companies. So that's a big connection between the U.S. and this region. But the Professor Beatty was saying that when you're talking about cybersecurity, one of the easiest things to do when it comes to safety, you go offline. And that means companies have been shutting down internal communications with their employees and then frantically trying to find other ways to get a hold of them to see if they're okay. And that's terrifying for coworkers, and it's also translating it to becoming even more difficult for families to connect with their loved ones as well.
Makes sense. All right, Anusha, thank you.